Wait, so the candidate used themselves as a reference?
There was a candidate, most professional guy I've ever met, shows up on the first day in what I'm going to only call medieval garb.
Wait, so he was a knight?
Are they looking for a job? Can I hire them?
Are some companies unwilling to hire women?
I think it goes without saying, but that's pretty terrible.
We're unpacking all of this and more on today's episode with Colleen Pelly.
I actually left my job to chase that bag, and it did not work out so well.
Imagine going through a full cycle of recruitment and then getting your offer rescinded.
Demoted.
What's up, Motorheads? Welcome to Demoted. We've got another fantastic guest episode today. Someone that I'm working with and she has worked with directly for a few years.
Yes, I've been in Aruba. You've been in the pool, it appears, at swimming lessons. That'll be kind of a motif of this episode.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been together in person.
In person.
You know, you were going through graduation week with your fiance. I was sobbing into a pillow.
I was sitting cross-legged.
In
my video game chair.
I actually haven't played video games in a week.
Wow.
Because I was on set for this short film, which, like, don't pity me, but like low key, I need to play some video games with my boys.
Well, and that's huge for you that it was a week.
It's a whole week. I still haven't played. We've been trying to coordinate. One of the guys I play with, his wife has a friend in town who's living in his gaming room right now in their guest room.
So he's banned.
He's banned till Thursday. Kevin.
This guy's shaking. Kevin, I'm sorry, bro.
The oppression is unmatched, and I'm sorry. And the boys miss you. And Hot Drops with the Dog Pound will resume as soon as possible.
Thank God. Your Twitch stream has been so dry. I watch, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
So
the banter's incredible.
Thank
you
God.
You get it. You're like, wow, way to kill those baddies.
Our guest doesn't play as many video games, but
has more of a real life.
Has more of a real life, a real business.
Yes.
More to offer us.
Yes. She is the CEO of Linchpin, which is a purpose-driven recruiting firm, who, by the way, Natalie has used to hire Riley.
Yes.
And I am currently using to hire he or she who will be named later.
And do you know what the role is called that you're hiring for? Have you named it?
Yeah, it is creative and content production coordinator.
Great. Can we make it longer?
I just need another buzzword. I was like, I don't even want social media in there.
Coordinator, director, VP of brand.
I mean, they're basically going to be a VP in this small little company. We all report to Becca.
Yes, of course.
You know, we have a performance.
It's a pyramid.
It's a total pyramid.
You two are equals.
We are absolutely equals. And hopefully we make some funny shit together, but we'll see what happens.
But yes, we worked with her and she does the full cycle recruitment.
Yep.
We did case studies. It was a whole 6-week process to hire our content specialist, Riley. You're in the throes of it right now.
Yep.
And she just has so many stories and horror stories of working as a recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, she worked internally at Lululemon. She worked for Tesla, and a lot of people, know the reputations of both those places, good and bad, positives and negatives. But now she's launched her own business.
Yes.
So she doesn't quite have to, deal with some of those things. But it means she's got the experience.
Yes.
She's done it.
So let's welcome to Demoted, Colleen Pelly. We're so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy we're meeting in real life.
It's weird to have someone who's so deeply, intimately woven into our lives on the podcast.
Let's explain our origin story.
Great.
We worked together on a brand deal, actually, on my Corporate Natalie channels. When was this? 2023?
A few years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And we worked together. I was promoting Linchpin,
Yes.
your recruiting company.
Yeah.
And I reached back out when I was making my hire of my new content specialist, Riley, who you found for me.
Yes.
And it was the most perfect recruiting search ever.
This is what we call the long game.
The long game.
Business development.
Yep.
Long game. You pay me,
Building
I pay you.
relationships.
Yeah, we're
right?
now.
I give it right back 3 years later. Now.
I say, Natalie, I need to hire someone. Do you have anybody you could refer me to?
Da-da-da.
Business. This is beautiful
Guys,
business.
see how that's how it works. We all got it dialed.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Before we do dive in, though, I do want to talk about what were Riley's primary shortcomings in the interview process?
Let's talk about how we should also give out a shout out to Samantha on my team who actually found Riley.
Yes. Samantha is.
shout out.
I've gotten a few emails from Samantha.
Yes, she's the best.
So how big is your team?
Real full-time employees, there's 3. And then
The 3 gals in the
That's right.
in the Instagram.
The crew.
Yeah, that you sent to me.
And then a lot of contractors.
Okay.
So it's so variable in when we're really busy and when we're not. So I sort of have pools of people in different areas that are specialists. And it's hey, we have a ton of sales recruiting right now. Can you pop on for 2 months?
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears about hiring is if I have to let someone go because we're not busy enough or something, I've made an error, so I have to fire someone. I would hate that. So we kind of wait until Sam's like, hey, help.
Yeah.
And then I'll
so desperate.
then we'll bring
You
someone
have to bring
in.
someone in.
Yeah.
Should we start from the beginning?
Yes.
Before Linchpin,
Yep.
Before starting your own agency and doing your thing, you were where? Tell us.
So recruiting, I mean, I don't think anyone like wakes up and is like, I'm going to be a recruiter when I grow up. I feel like everyone sort of falls into it. So I was at Lululemon in the stores and was kind of voluntold to do holiday hiring. So the seasonal hiring.
You were working in the stores.
Yeah, like I was like a sales associate at Lululemon.
And that's when everyone has the red crossbody bags
and you
for Christmas
all
time.
are like high pone and cheery and perfect culture fit.
Yeah.
But I was voluntold to do holiday hiring and I kind of just fell in love with the process. Like I was like, this is so fun. I get to like help people get a job. And that turned into an internship, which turned into a job at the Lululemon head office. And sort of that's how I kind of fell into it. And from there, I was headhunted over to Tesla to sort of start the Canadian recruitment function, which was a while.
Because you are Canadian.
That's right.
That's right.
You flew here for this interview from Canada.
Everybody's looking at you like,
there's something off about her.
Something.
And then, I've done tech recruiting and sales and cannabis and financial services and all the things. And in that time, I worked with a ton of people like Linchpin. So like I worked with a ton of external agencies and I don't know, the experience just never landed or felt human. And so Linchpin kind of came from my desire to solve the problem I thought could be solved. And it was kind of my now husband was like, hey, stop whining about it then and make it.
Did you recruit him?
No, that's how I got him. Yeah. And then we've kind of grown. We have this small team. We have most of our clients are in Canada and the US. We do some international work, but it's mostly across North America. And I don't know, I'm so proud of it. I do still deeply, we've talked about this, like live in imposter syndrome and you're like, why is this working?
Completely.
But I'm having a great time and I'm so proud of it.
Now I feel like you're doing a lot of founder-led marketing. You're going on podcasts. You're making yourself known as the CEO of Linchpin. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like I was trying to figure out, it's a very saturated market, recruitment. Okay, so I think like even in like the small town I live in, there's more than one recruiting agency. Mm-hmm. And so what is everyone doing and how can I be different? Because at the end of the day, your goal is the same. You're still trying to help people find people for their teams. So what can I do to stand out? Aside from, a lot of the work is like once you work with us, it's like, oh, you can see what the process looks like.
Totally.
And they're great communicators and it's so fun, whatever. But I found a lot of recruiters have podcasts, but I was like, no one's kind of trying to become a thought leader. So I was like, how can I stand out on LinkedIn? That's sort of how it started. And then when I met you, I had that government grant for trying a new form of marketing. And I was like, I'm going to try an influencer ad. I was like, I feel like agencies don't do that.
Yeah.
And then the podcasts came from that, to be honest. So shout out to Natalie for hooking up the start of my podcast tour. And I feel like it's been a cool way to differentiate ourselves. And I'm trying to be in this space where I can share expertise, but also, of course, like promote the brand at the same time. And it's been so fun.
How does one go from recruiting sales associates at Lulu to a what I'll call a high tech company at Tesla? Like there's a difference, right, in the type of person you're recruiting. So how do you make that jump and how did you sell yourself to make that jump?
Thank you for asking this question because I feel like a lot of the time we'll run into things with certain clients where it'll be like, oh, I'm going to hire this company because they've only done tech recruiting for 10 years. And to me, in a kind way, that means that you don't understand recruitment or know anything about it. And so... Ooh. Is she
spicy
fiery
in here.
today? No, so the fundamental basis of recruitment is understanding a need. And so you know this from working with us, but like we're not only trying to understand what you need for your team and what you need for your culture, but it's also like what's the emotional intelligence and also like who are you as corporate Natalie or who are you as corporate bro and like what does your company do and who are you trying to be? And so I kind of think of it a bit like sort of like casting. We're trying to figure out exactly what you're looking for and understanding that need. And if you can do that effectively, the actual recruitment part is the same. So I think it's deeply understanding the role and then deeply understanding the company and kind of bringing those two things together. The piece that becomes beneficial industry-wise is when you build pipeline. So I've built my contracting team to sort of cover a variety. So I can still say, yes, I have a pipeline in tech and yes, I have a pipeline. But we've gone pretty far out of our way to not be like, we're not just marketing recruiters. We always talk about recruitment with purpose. We're trying to figure out purpose-led companies, purpose-driven people, how do we bring them together? And so who you are and how you treat your team is more important to me than the industry you're in. Because, I mean, humble brag, we've never found a role we can't fill. So it's just figuring out how to understand your need and who you are and bring those two things together. So recruiting is recruiting across the board. It's about understanding a need and then realizing everybody's different. But the piece that's missing, I think, at a lot of places is you're not doing that intake call. So you know how we have a ton of phone calls being like, I need to dig into this even more. Or even like the job description we just wrote, we've gone back and forth quite a few times because it's like, we need to really understand your need or we're not going to find them for you. So yeah, the jump comes, but it's pretty natural. It's just, I need to do the work to understand who you are.
How often are companies, I mean, I'm thinking of Ross and I, but like, do they not know their need and you're kind of helping them through that?
Quite a bit. I think typically more on smaller teams. Like if you're not hiring a ton, like in your cases, like it's not like you've hired 100 people for each of your teams, right? So that's why you go back and forth though, because it's like, I need to figure out what you need. So the first call is kind of like, why are you here? Like what's bringing you to a place where you need someone?
I need a babysitter for an adult.
yeah, exactly.
Badly.
Listen, I really need help. But yeah, so quite a bit. And it's like, you know, large brands that are established and they're like, here's our pre-approved job description.
Yes.
But I would say the people who are looking for development are typically on the smaller side, or like startups. And a lot of our clients are in the startup space. We love them.
I love it.
We love a good startup.
We love a good startup.
We're startups, and so
we are startups, I guess. We're B2B SaaS companies.
Yes, guys.
I'm kind of pivoting to a hot topic.
Ooh.
Are companies unwilling to hire women?
Ooh, great question.
Okay, because I've heard from friends. I'm at the age of getting engaged, and I've heard people say like, "Don't show your ring on calls." You know, God forbid you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. Hello.
Yeah.
Like anything to say on that?
What I want to start with is like, I hate the answer I'm going to give you because it's so sad.
Go for it.
Yes. So on some sides you get like, we need to hire a girl.
Yes.
Like, and you're like, okay.
You mean a woman.
Make her hot now.
right. Make sure she's hot. So fundamentally you want to hire the best person in the job. But yeah, the saddest thing, like talking about getting engaged. Congrats.
Thanks.
But we'll have hiring managers. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Show it. I know. It's just like, okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
It'll be like, oh, but she's going to go on a honeymoon and then she's going to get married and then she's probably going to have babies and then not be here. So like there is a sad reality where we're still dealing with this, where it's almost like, well, maybe take your engagement ring off before you go to an interview. And it's like, I hate that those words are even coming out of my mouth. So I'd say it kind of falls on either they're like, hey, we really need a girl on the team, versus, hey, she's just going to have a baby. And I think something you guys have talked about in a previous episode, but with my second pregnancy, I didn't want anyone to know. Like I didn't want my client, I was like, they're going to think I'm not committed. There's like this very frustrating stigma that I'm not going to be connected or committed or great at my job. And this time around, like this current pregnancy, I've like trying to show, hey, you're capable of doing more than one thing at a time. And I am trying to be proud of it and show it. And I found that like being authentic and vulnerable has actually opened up a broader, better client pool for me. And the people who don't like it are probably not the people I want to be working with anyway, right? So, but isn't that sad?
It's so sad.
I'm so sorry. I know. And I feel like I want to like preface, there are companies who are like better, but it's wild. And one of the cool things is you can kind of pivot as a business owner, like, I don't want to work with them. Like if someone's coming to me and being like, we can't hire her because she told me she's going to have a baby, then it's like, we're not going to be the right fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens way more than I'd like to be true.
And as a team with 3 women, what are things you do as a business owner to make that culture okay to have children? And you have soon to be 3 kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, what do you do as a business owner there?
Yeah, I'm trying to just be proud of it and like sort of lead by example. And so if I'm showing up as my full self as work, that allows my team to do the same thing. And, you know, one of the girls on my team has 2 kids, and it's just like, I'm a big component or a big believer in flexibility. And so like, I'm not expecting you to like sit at your desk at 8, whatever that looks like. I actually don't care when they work. Just do your job, and recruiting's easy. I'll know you're not doing it because no one will be hired. But, and even for myself, like if I need to pick my kids up or daycare, or like swimming lessons start at like 4. So it's like, it's in the workday. So that's when we're going to go. But I think it's just, if I can show up authentically and show that it's okay, then that gives them the space to do the same. And you can kind of say that about anything, like as a leader, like if I'm willing to like admit I made a mistake or like talk about what's not going well, then that gives your team the space to do the same thing. So I think it kind of flows into that as well.
I heard swimming lesson.
I know. I was just thinking about Ross's stories.
Swimming lessons are really fun for me. I'm surprised I don't have pink eye yet. I'll say that.
The amount of pee in those pools.
Well, explain to the motorheads in case they haven't seen your stories.
For all the motorheads who have not been checking in on me, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, I've been going to newborn swim lessons recently, and it is a very warm pool full of 10 to 12, babies.
What did you learn about swim diapers recently?
I learned that swim diapers do not hold pee-pee. They're made just to hold poo-poo. And that was news to me because I got peed on yesterday for like the 5th time. But this was while we were walking into swim class in public. I had a big old wet spot in the middle of my body.
Hey, it's a parenting milestone.
It is, and it's fun. It's honestly fun, but the pool is just so warm, and there's so many babies, and babies already weird me out, and I'm in there with them, and we're singing, "The babies in the pool go splash, splash, splash," and I'm like kicking his legs, and he's just sitting there like
really learning how to swim,
really
mastering
learning nothing, literally learning nothing. I put him under the water a couple times yesterday. He was okay the first couple times, and then the 4th time he didn't love it.
You took it too far.
I took it too far. I mean, I held him down for a while there. Yeah, I don't know. I guess a follow-up question is, people that are different than me scare me and I treat them worse. Does that make me a bad person?
Oh, great question.
Yeah. Like, I love women, just like not in the workplace.
No, but there is a personality bias where we tend to be attracted to the people who are like us, right?
And right. So, that's why sales orgs look a lot like me.
That's why you're successful in your brand. So when you're vibing with someone in an interview, it can feel like, oh man, yes, like, we could be friends. This is great.
Common fallacy.
And sometimes you need to be like, is this the right person for the role?
Right. That's what I'm scared about. I'm like, am I going to go off vibes and be like, okay, this person's going to work super intimately and closely with me every day.
Well, they need to get along with you because they're in your space, especially when you're with a small team. They're in here all the time with you. And so, but part of our job is to help you realize that you're doing that.
Right.
And maybe don't like grab a beer with them on the first interview.
Okay. I'm going to have to, I'm going to listen to you guys on this. Well, that's why you're here in the first place, because I already know my shortcomings, many of which are reflected in hiring and in decisions like this. That's, but no, serious question. What will the impact of less DEI initiatives like be in hiring?
Oh, yeah. And it's wild.
Especially as we're stripping it all away now.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, even this past week, there's been companies who have laid off entire teams.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, where did this initiative go? And I think there's, I don't know what the right word is, stigma or thought process where people think diversity just means you're hiring people from different backgrounds, or you're hiring people that look different, or you're hiring different genders. But I think if we eliminate diversity of thought, like if you do hire the exact same person every time and you're not going to get anything innovated, you're not going to get new ideas, like how are we going to grow and evolve? And so I think the impact is a real bummer. Like, I think everything is going to shift in that way. And I think I'm hoping, even if you're deleting like departments or teams in that space, it's like people aren't eliminating like the bias. You can remove bias from your interview process, or you can make sure you're being open to like people from different backgrounds. Or one of the things that came to my mind was we talk about transferable skill sets. So if you're hiring someone for a role, just because they haven't had the exact job title you need, it's like, what skills were they showcasing in their previous jobs that make sense for your job? And they might be the best person because they're bringing a new perspective.
Right.
So I am disheartened to see this happening, but I think we can keep it alive in maintaining the way we think about the people we're bringing onto our teams. But it's true. It's shifting.
Yeah. Companies are doing it with pride.
Yeah.
It's weird opposite virtue signaling.
Yes. Or like, I think things feel like you're putting on a show. Like if you just put up a rainbow in June on your logo, then it's like, okay, well, how is that actually reflecting the way you're operating within your team? And so I think you're also damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, people are, no matter what you do, someone's going to be mad about your choice.
We on Demoted love to get corporate confessions from our listeners, salacious stories, crazy stuff, the sales kickoffs. But we want to hear, do you have any just wild recruiting stories on either the employer or the candidate side?
How much time do we have?
Like all day.
In fact, if this is all we want to talk about,
I know.
Motorheads
Stop
are
it here.
totally fine.
Stop. Okay. So many things come to mind. On the interview side, I'm going to call this one the double agent.
Oh, love.
So typically when you're headhunting, sometimes you're like, who are your direct competitors? Like, what does this look like, right? And so those people probably will be a good fit. So we've kind of reached out to people who are working in a similar space. And I had this guy who was a direct competitor and interviewed really well, like crushed it. And then what people forget is that people know each other. So I knew the recruiter on the other side too. Because companies with companies with internal recruiting teams still use agencies.
Yes.
So I knew the recruiter on the other side, and she told me he essentially just brought back all of the company's interview notes, like all of my company's interview notes. This is before Linchpin, and like our process and our review decks and our feedback forms. And he was sort of just like a spy trying to figure out what the competitor was doing. So
he was just a spy.
He was like
he was never trying to leave.
No, he didn't want the job. He just wanted to see what we were doing on our recruiting side.
What was his role in the company?
So it was a recruiting role.
Okay.
So it was like I was working in-house for a company and we're hiring another recruiter for the team, and they were a recruiter at a competitor, and they just wanted to like get the goods.
Wow.
It's like as sales reps, we would put in inquiries to competitors so we get a demo of their product.
I was just thinking that because
it happens. Yeah.
And all the people just out of curiosity, like email me who don't have a company, like, what are your rates?
Yeah,
like, you're just curious.
You're like, oh, why are you curious?
You just want this for your little database.
For what?
Yeah. I mean, you do have a good deck.
Yes, we do have that deck.
I think one of the ones that it feels like it was on social media all the time, but like actually happens is I had a hiring manager. This is with Linchpin, but I had a hiring manager who got stuck in a filter on the interview, like on a Zoom. So like he was like, I don't know, it was like the potato or the cat or something.
He was
his kids did it. He was an older man, but his kids did it to be funny, and then.
And he's stuck.
So my candidate was like, I think the interview went well, but he was like...
He was a
potato.
potato.
He was a potato the whole time.
So like
he was just eyes and lips on a potato.
If you're working uphill against being a potato and you still left a good impression, you rock.
It's just so funny. And like, you're like, this can't be happening, but it's happening.
My mom and I are starting kind of some wedding planning interviews and Zoom calls and meeting with vendors and planners. And my mom, just getting my mom on a Zoom is... it's a full-time job.
Yep.
It's, honey, can you send me that? I don't see it on my calendar.
And then their face is like,
how do I access my calendar? She's on her phone. She's dialed in. It's all echoing. We're in an echo chamber. It's like after 30 minutes, now the call's over and she's finally settled. And then we can ask how much their rates are.
And I don't know if your mom does this, but my dad just blames the technology.
Oh,
he's like, this is a terrible program. Yeah. This is just as, how does anyone use this? I'm like, well, Dad, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars in UX and UI to optimize that the whole world uses. Everyone, but no. It's them. It's not you, it's them.
Okay, but are you finding a little bit as you get older that you'll, like sometimes I'm like, oh no, I can't find the share screen button. I was like, I'm turning into my mom.
I'm a boomer. Yeah. I'm turning it completely.
It's happening.
We can't keep up with the rate of change.
Wait, guys, I need to tell you that there was a candidate who crushed the interview, okay? Most professional guy I've ever met. Like amazing, incredible. Yeah, usually
charismatic.
They interview very well. Like background went well. Everything was great. References were amazing. Shows up on the first day in what I'm going to only call like medieval garb. Like not like armor.
Can this person please apply to my
We know
role?
A thing or two about that. Knights of the
rock
conference
a lot
table.
Of medieval garb.
But it was like, I don't know how to explain. Because obviously, like a part of what you're trying to create at any company culture is like show up as yourself and like create the space, but like judgment free. But I guess
was he in chainmail?
Was he in a cave?
Was he in full plate?
It was like a chain vest.
Yeah, chainmail.
Yeah, and
protects against arrows and light sort of swords.
Energy projection was anyway. He ended up being there for like 5 years, but like his whole vibe every day was like Renaissance fair or like medieval. And
that's my shit. Though.
I just remember being like, where was the guy who was in like the suit?
Why didn't you interview as a knight if that's what you identify as?
It's like a great example of like the company that client like embraced it and was like, yeah, you be yourself, man. This is great. But I just remember being like, what is happening?
Do you think there's something to be said for, maybe not showing up as your fully authentic self?
Maybe not on day one.
On day one, or no, on interviews though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Like maybe you should.
Don't be who you are, be what you need to be.
Yeah. Be what you need to be.
Right. So you make, I think you want people to see the real you, but yeah, I guess there is like a line. But I think there's also a reality where like being authentically yourself, you'll be the right person. It's sort of like dating.
Yeah.
You'll be the right person for someone.
Signs the DocuSign, puts on chain.
Sir Johnson reporting for duty.
Grabs sword.
Where are my quarters? Over there, of course.
Yeah.
Any other crazy stories you have for us?
Sleeping their way to the top.
Yeah. That's how you do it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I did.
Precisely.
One of the wilder ones is I had this candidate, again, crushed it, did really well. Everything was amazing. And then you get to a point where offers are typically contingent on background and reference checks.
Right.
So it's like, we'll hire you as long as we get here. So background check came clear. Great.
Right.
And then the references happened and it just immediately things started shifting. And I remember being like, okay, so typically you need like someone who's been your manager and someone who's worked with you. And the names, like I couldn't find them on LinkedIn. The company they said they worked at, and like it was just like, okay, maybe they don't have LinkedIn. And then the emails were like, I don't know,
Sir Myers at
Surfer Dude 1234 like whatever, yeah. And then you want to get them on the phone or on a video, and it was like, I'm traveling. It's easier if we just do this written. Just like there's so many flags, and eventually I got someone on the phone, and it ended up being the candidate. Like I
I
remember.
was gonna say it's him, wasn't it?
So
With a voice distorted.
Let's call him Jonathan. Like I remember it got to the point where I had to be like, Jonathan, is that you? And he eventually broke, and it just
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Jonathan's not here. He's a very good-looking man.
Yeah, and it ended up being the candidate was fabricated because he couldn't think of anyone who could say anything nice about him, which tells me a great
That's
example.
tough.
People can interview really well and then sometimes can get through. So it's safe to say he didn't get the job. But I've never, like I'm actually usually my stance on reference checks is that I think they're kind of silly.
That's what I was gonna ask that because like all you're doing is putting allies in front. Like
For
who's
the
gonna say
most
something
part-
bad unless you are dumb?
Unless you're really like, so that's like why it's a huge flag. But for the most part, like all of you can think of somebody you've worked with who will say a nice thing about you, hopefully.
Yes.
And so the fact that he had 0 with 15 years experience. And so that's why you're like, okay, maybe they are worth doing.
I completely think that was important to me in our recruiting process.
And it also, I think one of the things that is a benefit from it, regardless of like it's typically positive, is they do give insight into things that maybe didn't come up in the process. So it's like, this is how you can work well together. Like it's just good advice for you as a future leader too. But that was, but like I just can't imagine
do you mean,
trying
Jonathan?
to do that.
Jonathan's not here right now. May he take a message?
I just remember, and I
Jonathan-
was embarrassed too because I was like, if I'm
put
wrong,
the mustache.
Jonathan, your camera's
Take
on.
the mustache off and your camera's on. Okay, the fedora is not fooling any of us.
So am I
wish
not
it
going
was
to get the
video.
job? Like, no,
well,
Jonathan.
and I ended up, and then of course you're like, I'm so sorry, like we can't move forward with you. So that's sort
Yeah.
of like taking the offer back. That's kind of like,
He's like, well, can you give me
gosh.
some like honest feedback about why?
well,
Please?
I don't understand it.
Please.
And then we get a bad Glassdoor review. Yeah.
Could you give me some? So that was kind of the candidate side. Can
Yeah.
you give us any nightmare client stories?
There's so many out there. I know there are.
Yeah.
Besides us, because obviously we are
I mean,
terrible.
Yeah.
don't even get me started. Some of them are so sad. I had a client who asked us not to hire someone because they had a scar on their face and it was a client-facing role. And the email literally said, we can't put that in front of a camera or we can't put that in front of a
And
client.
that was in italics
That
too, wasn't it?
is like a person.
Oh, that
So-
makes me so sad.
2 things come up for me there. 1, why would anyone ever say that? Who cares? But like it's
Yeah.
2, put it in writing. Why you're telling me you're going to put this in and I've had people too be like, we can't
Wait, they
hire
did put this in writing?
Yeah, it was an email to
Yeesh.
me. And I chose to share
Lawsuit.
the information with the candidate and then I chose to remove them as a client. I mean, on the positive side, it gives you insight into who people are and you're like, okay, I don't want to work with you. But it's also just like, how are we in a world, this was years ago, but how are we in a world where this is even a thing that comes across your mind?
Yeah.
Other things are just like, there's an arrogance where, as you guys know, we like to plan ahead, right? So it's like, we're going to do interviews on this day and please block this time, et cetera. And then people will fly in sometimes and it'll be like, oh, I can't meet them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, Natalie's sitting here waiting for her interview. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Can you stay till tomorrow?
No.
So that type of thing happens.
That feels like it's happening and can happen a lot more right now when the power is so much on the employer side.
Well, and when it's Zoom, they feel like it's not inconvenient, but it's like, no, people are still taking time off. If you're currently employed, they're taking time off their day to like talk to you.
Yeah.
And I think you're showing them this is, why would I want to work for you if this is how you treat your people? And then a lot of the time it just comes down to like, it's just the things people say. Like when you're thinking about nightmare clients, it's really just like, oh, she's engaged or, oh, I had a guy who say, can you hire someone less Indian? That was feedback.
That is so
No,
bad.
so I think like the overarching message is there are some like, it's just, we're still like, there's some gross people out
Yeah.
there. And on the positive side as a business owner, it lets me I've been able to curate. I want to work with people who treat people well and respect people and see the whole person and all these things. But when it happens, you talk about, and then like, what feedback am I supposed to give the candidate? Hi, you're too much of a woman.
Yeah.
so I shouldn't have put physical attributes in the intake form.
Yeah, we
Just make it
6'4", hot guy, super smart.
That's what Ross is hiring, everyone.
I have
I'm
had a
hired.
request like executive assistants, and it's been
Yeah,
like
that gets creepy, I bet.
So I've had 2 sides of it. One being like, we cannot have an attractive woman at all. And not like my wife's going to find out, more like I don't trust myself kind of vibe.
Right.
Wow.
And then I've also had, please make this a hot girl. And you're like, again, you put that in an email.
Please.
Sir, this is a recruiting agency, not a casting call.
Yeah. And like, I'm not a dating service for your infidelity.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing when you're thinking about like what's shocking is more just like that human behavior still exists like this. And you're like, it's 2025 and this is where we are. But it keeps the day interesting, I guess. Recruiting's a wild ride. But yeah, I'm grateful for clients who see the value in the partnership and sort of see it as an extended part of their team and want to be a part of the process. And what we found is like those who don't, it's hard to get feedback, or you're like, you know, you cancel interviews, you push interviews out months.
Like, this has been a year.
Like, when
are we going to wrap this up? Do you want someone to work for you?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, and then, you know, we talk about like, do you actually want the role, or like, is
this just for fun?
Are you just posting a job for fun? Yeah. So thank you. You're both very organized. I was very impressed yesterday with your response time, Ross.
Well, you know,
I was like, if you don't mind, if you can get it done by the end of the week. And he was like, approved.
I think it was 7. I think it was 7 minutes, but you know, I mean, it is important. I think I'm very excited and like, I want to see the process move, but at the same time, like this is such a crucial choice.
Yeah.
They're like, and I think for us, especially, it's like, we're going to work with them every day. Like
very
they're going to be deeply in our personal lives too. So it's a huge thing. It's not just
the work you guys, it is more intimate, but I think this is why we always talk about too, like, yes, we have an average time to fill and yes, we have this, but most importantly is that you feel great. So if anything feels wrong, then I will never be in a place where we're pushing you to do something that doesn't feel right. Sometimes it's like, hey, we're going to do it again. Great. Let's go through the process again. And that's okay. Like it's more important, like from a metrics perspective, like time to fill is really important, but it's like retention and like, how long have they stayed? How long have they grown with the company? Like it's so cool on LinkedIn to be like, I see John Smith has his 10th anniversary and you're like, I hired him.
Oh, so that's great.
It's like this like fun little dopamine kick.
I love that.
What are your thoughts on giving feedback to candidates? Like that whole process, especially now when there are so many candidates, it's hard, right? Every candidate wants a personal experience. Like they want the feedback. Why didn't I get it? But you might have 700 applicants for a single role. And I'm sure you'll get feedback to the ones who make it to the interview stage or something like that. But like, how do you sort of go through these types of things and make those choices?
It's such a good question. And feedback is so important, especially when you're thinking about like really junior candidates. Like, let's like help them grow.
Again, maybe the jewel rip wasn't good. Right. Turn off the camera for a second.
Not the best idea. No, you're right. It sort of gets more in depth the later you are in the process. So like if it's just like a application stage and like your resume was there and it doesn't make sense, we always make sure we respond to everyone, but that is more generic.
Right. It's like, thanks for your application. Like, unfortunately.
But if sometimes people will push back and be like, is there anything specific? And then I always answer it. But for the most part, like 1,100 applicants,
we're going to
probably most of them will be no's. And so, but making sure that they get a message regardless, even if it's sort of neutral. Cause I think like the ghosting thing is, I'm sure you hear this from people, but from candidates, it's a nightmare. You feel like you're applying to things, but on the feedback side, it can get tricky. Like I've been at companies before Linchpin, like when I worked in-house, that there was rules around what we could say from the employment lawyer. And so it almost was like, you were like, we found a candidate who had more closely qualified skill set. Like it was like, I was like this little recruiter robot. And I understand, I can like high picture, I can understand where they're coming from. They don't want any lawsuits, like in case the recruiter says something. But I feel like you're not helping anyone grow. So rogue me, I would always give some sort of feedback, but it was never, just like, sometimes it is, hey, this candidate led someone through an IPO and you hadn't yet, and that was really important to them, or something like that.
Well, that's an easier conversation.
Yeah, much easier. Some companies have rules, which is really frustrating. And some of them just like, I worked for this one company that we had like what's it called? Oh my God, pregnancy brain. Like a generic draft. And it would just be like, that's what everyone can get.
Right,
like
That's
approved
it.
by HR.
A template that like responds.
So now that I am running my own company and I get to do things the way I want, which is nice, and I can kind of create that safe space, we always like to make sure we're giving super clear feedback, but the hard part is when the client side is saying things like, don't hire women, or, he's too old, or things like that. And so then I'll try to find something I've learned from the process to share. So a great example, like a very simple thing would be like junior candidates don't accept calendar invites, or they don't communicate with a sense of urgency. And it's like, hey, in the future, it's like super helpful for us to be continuously talking, so I know you're on board. But yeah, it's crazy how many people sort of want to dictate because they want to keep an image.
We would be remiss if we didn't bring up AI and how you see this whole AI is taking everyone's jobs, AI recruiters, AI this, that. Like, what are your thoughts on AI, both in the recruiting space and then, it's coming for everyone's jobs?
Okay.
Why do we need a recruiter?
Yeah, great question. And this comes up all the time. And so here's what I'll say. I think the angle we need to look at this as is AI is not going to take your job. So we need to look at this as like a tool in our tool belt. So it's a tool we use every day at Linchpin too. And, you know, a lot of help with research, saving time in that space. And I think when you're thinking about the fear-mongering messaging around AI taking everyone's work, AI is not going to take your job, but AI is going to take someone who understands how to use it and how to like use the functionality and is an expert. Yep. They will be chosen over you. Mm-hmm. So I think it's
get good at the tools.
Accept that it's coming and accept that it's a tool that's here to make you better. But I do feel like on the recruiting side, huge benefit to so many things. Like it can help with sourcing, it can help like save time on that way. But there is an emotional intelligence side that I don't think has been figured out yet. Like there's a human touch piece that's needed. So it's like, how can we work together to make your process better and your process more efficient? And I'm still here to make sure that there's a human to it, because if you're hiring for your team, you're not going to hire someone without meeting them and like talking to them and seeing them and that space. But like relationship building is everything. And I feel like we're not there yet on what that looks like with AI.
The vibes component.
There is something to, I mean, it's the same thing with closing deals. Like you're not going to spend $1 million talking to a robot.
No.
Like you gotta get some human
Piper,
conversation.
the AI SDR?
Yeah,
You've seen those signs everywhere.
They're literally all over.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
You mean Piper?
And their marketing is so bold. They're like,
it literally
why
says
hire
stop hiring humans.
Yeah.
Stop hiring humans.
I know, we saw it last night. We're like, oh no.
Oh God.
We're like, is everyone
we got to get out of this.
We put a Linchpin
Silicon
sticker
Valley.
on top of it. The relationship piece, like just a quick story. I have one of my larger clients was someone who I met at a coffee shop. And I was in line and I saw that she spilled her coffee and it was all over her purse and it was a mess, and I got out of line and helped her and we just started chatting, and then we kind of kept in touch, and from that I have someone who brings in like more of a quarter of my revenue every year.
Wow.
And I was like, I used to live in South Carolina. I was like a lifeguard in the summers, and it was just like a random coffee shop in Hilton Head, and then this many years later it's just someone I've kept in touch with, and it was just like, so be human.
Look up, talk to people.
And like relationship building is the key to a lot of things. Like we talk about referrals or networking, like keeping those relationships is how you're going to get a job or find a job or get clients, or I don't know, keeping relationships is how you and I are working together. And
it's true.
I'm just picturing like one of those movie moments where she's like so stressed about the coffee and she gets a tap on her shoulder and she looks up and you're like, you dropped this, and it's like a napkin.
Yeah.
And she like smiles.
It's like our meet cute.
And then like the, like glow over your head, and she's like, thank you.
If only I had a teammate that you could help source me to do this
it's funny,
for.
at that
I've just
time,
been trying to hire people and I'm so stressed out and I spilled my coffee and I just don't know how to hire anybody. And you're like, I got you.
At that time though, I didn't even know what recruiting was. That was just like me trying to be nice.
Oh, wow, that was that long ago.
And it was like when I was in my 20s, and I was a lifeguard, and but it's just like
this is when you were the lifeguard. I thought you were saying you like went back.
No, this is like
you used
years
to be a lifeguard.
ago, and I just I just helped someone, and then she ended up giving me her business card because I was looking for a job at the time.
Yeah,
and she was like, "Oh, we hire different like customer service type stuff all the time. Here's my card." I never did that, but I just sort of kept in touch, followed her on LinkedIn, like stayed with it, and now they're a client, which is so cool.
I love that story. Okay, so we're pivoting to Dear Demoted, and very exciting. Our first submission is an audio submission.
That's great.
So we will get to hear directly from this person, and we want your advice. So I'm going to play this now.
What up, corporate baddies? Longtime listener, first time caller. I am a recruitment manager at an RPO, and I have been there for about 3 years, and really struggle with like the instability of it all and how my role always will depend on client demand. And so about a year ago, I moved to a new client, and long story short, my former client has now slid into my DMs with an opportunity to almost double my compensation, which is insane. But it would definitely be more work, more stress, and a little bit less of a work-life balance. What do we think? Keep riding it out in a kind of unstable environment, but enjoy work life? Or head back to the grind, roll up my sleeves, cry a little bit for the bag? What are your thoughts?
Crying for the bag, baby.
First of all, I love you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like we got a spot for you right here.
Come on over.
Please come here.
My initial reaction to it is you need to figure out, so let's say the salary is like crazy high or the variable comp's insanely high, but you need to figure out how long you're working. So if you're working like 16-hour days, 17 hours, 18-hour days, you're not actually making a ton more. So you need to figure out like what's the hourly rate.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Do a little math.
Because sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm making so much more money, double money. But yeah, not if you're working 70 hours a week.
You can't go to your friend's wedding. And
my thought process and having, building a business on maternity leave and like during pregnancy and post, I've learned that you can be super efficient with your time. And I feel like I get more done now in 3 hours than I ever used to because you have to. But yeah, my first reaction is like, figure out if it's actually going to be more money. And then you need to figure out what is important to you. What's your bottom line for what you can survive off of? Like how much money do you need to live and also like have a little bit of fun? But my vote is always balance over money or like lifestyle over money. But I'm here to argue that you can have both. You don't have to work insane hours to hit your targets. But
yeah,
the first step.
If you're planning on getting married and you want to pay for a wedding,
hustle.
Go ahead and take that job. Yeah, this is insane. Let me just say
we just eloped and it was expensive and it was like we
You're
chose
like, there's
to
just
do
two
a
of us.
bougie elopement, but
we
got
that could be a whole. We'll have another episode on that because that's insane. But yeah, my thought is get the bag if you're able to now.
Yeah, and I think it's like your time is valuable though. I guess is the biggest piece, and so figure out how much money you're worth. And if you're working, like, are you actually making more? But I'm a big believer in work. Like I want money too. I get it. We all do.
Yeah. I did this exact jump.
Okay.
When I left from Oracle to go to a small startup in Mountain View, I had to be down there every day at 7 a.m. So I was leaving the city in pitch black every day. Turned out my boss's boss, our VP, was awful. It was the darkest 9 months of my life. And I got doubled everything. I got promoted and I got more money. And then in 9 months, I left and took a 40% pay cut to go back to being happy.
Okay. I actually to that point, one thing I will add is like, it's very important who you work for.
Yep.
I think people really aren't valuing that enough. Like I've had an experience where I worked at the same company in different cities. I went from being the happiest I've ever been in my job, exact same role scope, to like crying at my desk every day. And the only thing that shifted was my leader. And so I think make sure you're including that in your evaluation process. Like, do I feel good? Do I feel comfortable and safe and supported? And am I going to grow under this person or are they going to ruin my life? Like, was your leader a part of what didn't work?
Yes.
Yeah.
A massive part of what didn't work. Terrible work environment, just hostile.
It's incredible
just
the impact it can have, and even when your role scope doesn't even change. Like it's that's a really important piece aside from money that I think people.
I just don't think there's like an answer here. Like to Natalie's point, like if you have the capacity to grind and go get the bag, and that's what you want to do, like we've both made that choice many a time. Yeah. And it like there's a sacrifice that comes with it.
And
are you willing to pay that sacrifice?
You and you've had it be positive too, right?
Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? You think get it?
I'm always chasing that bag. Ross knows.
Natalie is just will sob for that bag.
I will do anything for that bag. So I'm probably not the right person to ask. I will stay up late. My hair will fall out. I will do awful things. No, I won't do awful things. But I'm very.
You're also way more comfortable than Russ and I in the morning. Like you're
I've had to adjust. I was like,
you want me to be here at 10 a.m.? No,
yeah, I'm dead asleep.
No, once you have kids, you're.
Yeah, I mean, Fishy's up at 5 a.m. now, just doing his best jokes. He just sits there.
No, their best.
I'm like, bro, go to bed.
Their best.
Do you get up though in the morning and then start your day? No,
I mean,
or do you
it depends on what I need to like do. If I have something early, like today, I just basically was up. It was just like, we'll switch
staring
up.
at the wall.
Yeah,
miserable.
Well, now once they're a little bit older, we've told our son like he goes into the kitchen and we're like, if the clock says 7, you can come into our room and get us, and if not, go potty and go play.
I mean, he had himself in stitches, and I'm like, "What's funny at 9 weeks old?" He like saw a shape that like moved or like got lighter or darker, and he thought that was so funny.
I know, isn't it cute?
I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to sleep for like 45 more minutes, dog. Let's get into some rapid fire questions, and I will kick off the first one. I probably know the answer given this day. Do recruiters actually read every resume?
No,
of course they don't.
Okay. Yes, is the short answer is you'll look at it. The one thing I will say is we look at it for 6 seconds if we are looking at it. It's very fast.
Right. You saw my GPA 40 years ago.
Yeah, where does your eye go? I guess it depends on the
It kind of depends on the need, but a lot of it is like, stats are so helpful on resumes. So like metrics and pieces that I can pull away, or like what does the client ask for? So like those keywords.
The client's like, I want Ivy
algorithm
League.
Works. Yeah. Like less education now, that's a shift that's happened, but it's like finding the transferable skill set quickly, but 6 seconds.
Are there any red flags that actually work in the candidate's favor?
Ooh, great question. Short answer would be like, yes. Job hopping used to be seen as not organized or like not loyal, but now it's like a sign like they're not going to stay somewhere toxic or they're growing, evolving. So yes.
Any memorable stories from recruiting in the cannabis industry? This you can have longer than 6 seconds.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the biggest thing is during that time, it was before it was legal too.
Ooh.
So we were like on the research and development medical side, but you're
Dangerous.
interviewing people who you want
You were
to,
Breaking Bad.
but you want to know that they know the product,
Yes.
but also you can't
say outright.
And we had to drug test.
And the goal was for them to fail.
Right. But
drug
it's like,
test.
how are you an expert in the space? So like that was an interesting
I'm
dynamic.
passionate about the industry.
And I think the biggest thing there was everyone was high during their interviews.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Really?
I can tell, man. Like, and like, I've dabbled. It's fine, but like, don't do it when we're talking on a Zoom interview. You know.
But do they kind of want that? Or
I know
no?
this is what was hard because I think it would be different now
Yeah.
because it's like normal and there's stores
It's a
on the
legit
streets.
yeah.
But I think like I was sort of in the wild west of it all, and I learned a ton about time management and organization, but it wasn't the right industry for me.
Like, dude's super smart. He was high as a kite.
High as a
Yeah.
fuck.
But hey,
Okay.
relationship
Yeah.
building, I have hiring managers from there who are clients now who aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
So like you just got to keep in touch with people.
Biggest differences between hiring in Canada versus the US.
Fundamentally, like the thing that comes to my brain first is just like benefits.
Canadians have rights. Something like that.
Maternity leave, like there's difference fundamentally, like the way the benefits are scheduled or like RRSPs versus 401ks, that thing. But there's a lot of similarities. It's still like big business in that pieces. But I think the biggest shock for me was always like, oh my God, okay, oh, that's your benefit plan, or like that's your, it's just,
In the US,
Yeah.
you're shocked.
You're
I
like,
was
oh,
like,
that's
yeah.
so that's it.
or like maternity leave is like, what is that? I mean, once you have your own business, you don't really get I don't have that, but in Canada, if you're working for a company that it's up to 18 months, and there's
If you need to
different
step out
levels
for
of
a
support.
few hours, have a baby, just like if you want to finish up your work
And
that
then in the
night, like at
States,
night,
it's
that's
kind of
fine.
like, you're still working tonight, right? Even
Yeah.
though you're in labor. So like,
You're-
there's just shocks there, but there are a lot of, it's still business, but the benefits piece is very different.
Oh God, sad. Do job sites actually work? The Indeed's, Career Builder, Glassdoor.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's kind of like Tinder. Like you could find the right person on there, but you're like, there's a lot that doesn't work. I think for sort of like an hourly, like retail or like labor, it's really helpful. But like we use it for sort of like, the hourly space as opposed to like full-time salary role. It has a place.
Yep.
So I would say, yes, it works. Glassdoor is great because you can't delete reviews. So if you're a candidate and you're like researching a company, you can't delete anything that's been written about your
Thank
company.
you.
So it's,
I used to work there at Glassdoor
Oh,
for many years. And I tried to explain to people, you can't delete reviews. It doesn't work like that. You can't pay us to delete reviews.
There are some like unhinged. You want to talk about unhinged? I saw one when I worked at Tesla that was like, kill yourself before you work here. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
There's like
Yeah.
some crazy reviews. And so for those, Glassdoor has a content team that's based in Ohio.
Yeah.
None of us have any knowledge of who these people are except by first name. Their email addresses are generated, so we could email the content team and be like, this is the most outrageous review ever. Does it violate content guidelines? And you'll just get something from like Pam579 for fake email address back to us.
No.
This will stay. And we're like, cool. Well, I just lost a $50,000 deal because they're pissed off about
The other
this.
thing I will say though is I feel like people only comment when they're mad.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of
But
course.
there are companies like
Self-selecting
Good Day.
people.
Yeah. But fun fact, I've worked at companies where they pay their employees to write positive reviews.
Also a thing that we would catch. They all came on the same day.
All of a sudden you're like, why are all of these? Yeah.
I'm like, you can't bribe people. We literally found out you bribed
Yeah.
people with gift cards to write reviews. I've been
Valley
paid.
LLC has some awesome reviews.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Written by me.
Yeah, same. I remember myself. I was like, the owner is so hot. He has great legs.
Those crabs.
It's still up. How do connections and referrals influence hiring behind the scenes?
Massively.
Massively, of course.
Like I think
That's the way.
there's an immediate trust that's built. So
Yeah.
if someone's referred and I trust that person, it's like you're avoiding the vetting process
Mm-hmm.
almost because you trust them. So I would say like use your relationships. It's way faster to get a recruit. We're lazy too.
Yeah.
So like if you hand me a resume from someone directly and I trust you, great.
Right.
Help me find
Done.
that person.
You're going to look for 12 seconds on that resume.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What's your opinion on companies putting up ghost postings to make it look like they're actually hiring?
Yeah, I hate this. It happens in two scenarios. One, when they're trying to like maintain an image or like either they're trying to look busier or they're trying to look certain in uncertain times. The only time it can be useful, quote unquote, is when companies, if they hire a ton of salespeople or a ton of marketing people, but you still need to be transparent and be like, we're looking to hire in Q3. Because otherwise
Love salespeople.
it's not helping your brand image. Because if you're putting up like a ghosting and then I don't hear from anyone, it's just there because you're trying to look busy. I think it's a bad idea. If you're using it for pipelining, put that in the description. So you're being, transparency is the most important thing.
Yeah, not going to happen. But a girl can dream. All right, last question. Where can our listeners follow you, find you, hear more about what you're working on, use you to help them find great people?
Yes, please. So our two platforms would be like LinkedIn and Instagram. And so the Linchpin Co. and then
Same.
at the Linchpin Co.
So much same.
You love those two platforms.
Yeah,
Go smash that like button on my job rec that went out there.
Go follow Colleen Pelly on LinkedIn, like all the things. But like we try to share content for both the candidate and the client side.
Go find the
And if you
Instagram
look
post
today,
about my
it's
job.
Ross's
It's three baddies just like, we're hiring for corporate bro. And they're all like
They're in there.
they're all in like these they're all in like these power baddie poses, and I'm like, yeah, send it.
Yeah,
Send it. It's perfect.
Send it.
And we will vouch for you, as we've said in this podcast, but you do incredible work. If you're, especially speaking from small business perspective, go with Linchpin.
Thank you.
You made it so easy to find the right person.
That's exactly what I want.
I feel safe with you.
I feel so safe with you. I really do.
I do too.
So thank you for being
very
on
excited.
Demoted. You're incredible.
Thank you so much for having me. That was so fun.
Colleen has left the building. Ross has taken her place.
I have.
We're heading to lunch with
try.
her after this.
Yeah, we sent her back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Do whatever she's got to do while we wrap up this episode and sing her praises.
I mean, I'm so excited for you to bring on your next hire.
I know.
This is huge for you.
I'm scared. I'm nervous, but I'm very excited.
We joke that our team, so I'm a team of 3, you will be a team of 3, that like our teams will be some sort of Love Island kind of mosh pit together when we work together.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know who this person's gonna be. It's like, it's weirdly exciting because like I said with Colleen, it's just like, this person is gonna be up in my life.
Who do you picture? I mean, obviously we talked about biases and like, but just
who's
the type of person you picture who will be this?
I picture kind of like a goofy, like on the surface, seemingly like weird person.
Creative.
Yeah, creative, kind of like all over the place seeming, but like actually very structured behind the scenes. That's like what I need. I need someone who can kind of keep me in order. Becca's like, this is going to be actually way harder than you think because they have to work with you.
Well, yeah, she's like, I've managed you your whole life.
Yeah, she's like, you're going to have to shape up if you're going to work with someone. You're going to have to not throw your little temper tantrums. And I'm like,
well, and it's true. It's like 5 days a week, full time.
Yeah.
Someone is looking at you with their eyes open saying, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny. I don't know who this person is. I already love them.
Yeah.
I already want to make them so successful.
I'm so thankful for them.
It's like, I will take care of you.
Yeah.
I will do anything for you. You do good work for me. I will take care of you to the end of time. You'll never have another job. If I can
have anything to say about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. Well, that's really exciting and more to come on that.
Yeah. Yep.
Should we get into a little promoted or demoted?
Let's do it. I'll hit you first. Promoted, demoted, Aruba. You were just there.
So I was just in Aruba. Everything was lovely besides the fact that it is so far from California.
Yeah, wait, so how do you get there? You connect through Miami
I
or
left
something?
Sunday night, connected through Washington, D.C.
DC, okay.
And it was a full overnight to then like almost the full rest of the day. It felt very, very far.
Yeah.
And as two people who grew up going to Hawaii,
right,
like that is just my bread and butter. And
right, that's
I love it.
The Pacific version.
Well, and it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of.
Right.
But it was so great to see a new place. And I was with my best friend, Maddie. We just were able to like explore an island together and hang out and tan. So that was lovely.
How long were you there?
Monday to Thursday.
Okay, so it wasn't like you flew so far for like 2 days. You actually had like
no. I mean, it felt like we got in Monday night basically, so we just got to do a dinner. It was kind of but lovely. Wish I could have stayed longer.
Yeah,
and
got work to do. You got bag to get.
I got bag to get. So I'm going to promote Aruba.
For that bag.
I'm going to promote Aruba, especially for our New York motorheads because way closer.
I've never been, so I'm going to go ahead and promote it too because I don't know it.
Okay.
So, but I'm excited about it.
Promoted, demoted short films.
I mean, promoted. They're fun. Like.
Okay, explain. Give context.
I was just on a short film. They don't quite have a title yet. I'm going to just say it. Working title is called Flavor Revolution. It's two guys who accidentally start a local revolt through a ad campaign about barbecue sauce.
Yes.
Like they're trying to help
you
this
guys
local.
Know that all too relatable feeling.
Right, yeah. And it's like this, they're trying to pitch this campaign to a guy who's launching a condiments brand and it riles up the townspeople accidentally. He turns on the mayor. Everybody turns on the mayor, and starts
Ross
a revolution.
Was acting in this.
I was acting in this.
You were
I was one
hired
of the
as an
ad
actor.
guys. I was hired as an actor, and it was a lot of fun. It was
And it was filmed in SF, or were you in LA?
SF and Marin. Actually, it was a local thing, so it
Love
was
that.
it was.
Got to come home to
fishy home
every night.
Fishy each night, but the days are long. They're 12 to 15 hour days. But I mean, there's like nothing more fun than being on a set with a crew of people and just like you get super close, super fast, and then it's done. It's like I miss everyone.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Okay. So one side note for this, I wasn't checking your Instagram stories and I got a DM from someone that said, God, you're away from corporate bro for 1 week in Aruba and he falls apart. Have you seen his stories? Because you posted a selfie with like, I guess you had makeup on looking
Yeah,
like,
we get beat up. We get like, yeah.
You look like bloodied in a...
Covered in barbecue sauce.
Covered in barbecue sauce. And you're supposed to like another day in the office or something.
It's like Mondays.
That's how I found out what you were doing. So that's very interesting.
It's like fun when you get to dress up, like, and just play a character that's just completely, I love dressing up.
Night. Are you kidding me?
Like anytime I get to wear armor, awesome. I got to dress up as a Minuteman, revolutionary
When you hire someone for this role, like, are they aware of all the costumes that they're going to have to be organizing and dealing with?
I will hope they do their research. They'll know. They're going to wear a bunch of dumb shit.
So we're going to promote short films.
All right. Promote, Demoted, business school, graduations.
So
you've had a month long of graduation.
My fiance just graduated and he's currently on his, of course, European grad trip.
Right.
Because as a 30-year-old...
The fifth one of the business school career in the last 2 years.
Yes. Because, traveling the entire last 2 years was not enough. So just in the south of France with your boys.
Yeah. What could be better?
Golfing, going to clubs, day clubs, night clubs, dinner clubs. And
real world's going to be a real kick in the dick.
It's going to be, it's going to be
a real kick in the dick.
I'm like, you get to come home to our routine and waking up at 6 a.m. with me. I hope you're excited.
And doing work.
And cleaning up this place because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
No, but grad was great. Honestly, kind of sad. It was like
super sad.
An end to this chapter of being with these incredible people and just quite literally living with 14 people, which we were doing part-time was, I mean, you'll never have that experience again unless, we kind of show up at Love Island for next season, but unclear. I don't think that's happening. But I will promote graduation. It was a great time.
Yeah.
Sad to close the chapter.
Very sad.
One final one for you, promoted or demoted, baby swimming lessons. You talked about it with Colleen.
Promoted. I mean, look, I didn't want to get in the water. And then Becca reminded me that she birthed a child and spent 9 months, really 10 months pregnant. So I'm getting in the water. There's a few other dads there. I had to learn the songs. Like, it is what it is. Do I think Fishy's enjoying it? No, I don't think he's going to remember a single piece of this period of his life. But
I don't remember anything until I was 12.
Yeah.
Promoted swimming lessons.
Oh
my
toddler,
gosh.
Whatever. Not even a toddler. He's 9 weeks old. You cannot do swimming lessons until they are 8 weeks. And he was 8 weeks and 1 day when he got in the water for the first time.
My mom and my fiance says, honey, this might not be the best way to do it. But my mom, when I was 2, after I had taken a few swimming lessons, threw my ass in the water, made me get to the side of the pool.
That's a thing. That's like an actual thing.
And she literally was like, you kind of started drowning, but the instructor goes, she'll get there. She'll get there. And I just have this vision of doing that with my firstborn daughter. Unclear if that's the right way, but
you're going to have 3 boys.
No, please, God, no.
You're going to have 3 boys.
No, I can't.
Okay. All right. Let's read a comment here. It's a long one, but that usually means it's good.
Keeping it super real with you guys. I listen to this podcast every week, but despite my love for this podcast, I'm the worst fan. I never comment interesting post. I never do any of these things to prove that there's more than 2 people that listen to your podcast. You guys are great. And there's probably many other silent fans out there just like me who just forget to show our appreciation. So I'll speak for all of us when I say, keep on keeping on.
Thank you, Lauren Dunleavy.
Lauren,
for the Spotify comment.
And all of you silent listeners, because we see our downloads. We know how many people are listening, and the ratio of that to comments.
It's appalling.
It's appalling. So thank you for speaking on behalf of the silent ones out there.
Yep. I'll read one more. This is a quick one. This is from our Dr. Emily episode, which, by the way, if you guys haven't listened to, I mean, it's a top 3 episode all-timer, especially, in terms of guests and making you better people. So here's what it is. This is from M. Peugeot. Sure, that's French. I love this episode. Relevant to everyone. I love listening/reading to information that humanizes work. So
this isn't a resume or a cover letter, but thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean,
things that fire me up, being curious.
Humanizing work.
I love humanizing work.
Fuck me up.
And that's part of my thesis as a person.
Exactly.
As always, send your corporate confessions. Dear Demoteds, smash that subscribe button if you haven't. Recruit that like button.
Yep. Read the resume of the subscribe button for 6 seconds, but no more.
Tell that like button, I don't care if you're a woman, I'm still going to hire you.
Show me that wedding ring. Be pregnant with that like button.
Get that like button pregnant.
Yeah.
Please do. And as always, tune in next week on Demoted.